I was asked a question about selecting times when to come and fish and dirty water. So I have my own theory about dirty water, and I'm going to try and explain it. In the spring, you often get big rain events, and I would say normally it starts early spring and it can go through to the beginning of summer. You might have big rain events come through. Colossal amount of rain is put in the island. You can normally detect that by just looking behind the island. You will see big ponds full of water. Now, the water inside the island, so the old boys, you can always dig down and get to it, and it's no more than about 6 or 7 foot down. That water temperature stays pretty low. That can be low in the 60s. The water in the Gulf at that time of year can go well into the 80s. The two differences, and I'm going to put this little picture up I did to try and help explain. The water in the Gulf gets so hot that it starts sucking the water out of the island. And after a big rain event, you can get dirty water that lasts for a month. Now, it's usually about 100 yards off from the beach, and you can find it slightly coming in different areas where it clears a bit, but normally that time of year around the high banks and that, it's normally pretty dirty for a good month. You know, it's very unpredictable early spring. Times to avoid, that's one time if you don't like dirty water. I would say full moons. I once spoke to an old boy, Dale Vic, lovely old boy, and he reminded me that the sausage makers in the hill country always wait for a full moon because that's when the cold fronts come through. So avoid that time as well. Look at the tides. You want to look for good tidal movement, and that's normally a 2-tide day. High and a low, not a 4-tide. 4 tides, you tend to get slack movement. There's not much movement, but the best time is going to come when there's plenty of water movement. I think what happens to fish, when the water gets slack, he just sort of sit there. But when the water's moving, he'll drift along with it using very little energy and just going in and picking stuff up. So I avoid them slack periods in times, and you can get them predictions by going to an app like Tides, for example. So the main thing is the best time, in my opinion, is the fall. October, November, December really kicks in. Now, with the temperature staying warmer than normal, that's pretty good as well, because that's going to keep them fish hanging. When that water temperature gets down into the 50s, you might as well go home and paint the house or do your honeydews. Anyhow, there's some of the reasons. I'm sure there's lots of other people who are going to get involved, but they're the things I look for. And planning your holiday is a tough one. If you're going to plan it in the fall, not around a full moon and good tides running.